Thank you so much to Vue Glam for sponsoring today's video. More on them soon.
So this evening I thought it would be really fun to do some kitchen witchcraft together. This week we have something coming up where it would be really nice to have a little bit of extra prosperity and abundance backing us. So I thought I would share with you guys my prosperity pesto recipe. And for the overall meal, I'll be doing a pesto pasta along with some garlic bread. I started keeping my bread in a cake pan and it keeps it so incredibly fresh. But here is my sourdough that I will be using for garlic bread this evening. It works out really well that I already have the bread baked because I do put intentions into my sourdough loaves every time I make it. And actually, let me get my sourdough starter for you. Here she is. I think if I remember correctly, the last Weeknights with a Witch, I was actually just starting to establish this starter. She is well established. Her name is Evelyn, and she has been making some fantastic loaves of bread, which has been super fun. I think I want to make an entire video talking about the spirit of sourdough, so definitely keep an eye out for that video because I'm very excited about it. As far as my pesto recipe goes, I am making quite a few adjustments from a basic pesto recipe, mostly because the correspondences work a little bit better with the herbs and different things that I'm personally choosing. The main difference is actually going to be within the base of the pesto, so instead of using pine nuts, I'm going to be using cashews and pumpkin seeds, which personally pumpkin seeds are something that I use for a lot of abundance work. So I think these are going to be really nice for our prosperity pesto. But let's head out into the garden. We will harvest the herbs that we need for our pesto and we'll come back in and make everything.
The next main difference from a regular pesto recipe is that this one includes mint. If you have ever grown mint or put it anywhere that isn't in a pot, you will know how much it spreads like crazy. And that is some abundant energy that I like to bring into my prosperity workings. And of course, what pesto recipe is complete without using a ton of basil? For this recipe, I'm using both purple and green basil. And honestly, I've never used purple basil before. In this video, it looks very purple, but weirdly, as the growing season has gone on, it has started to change into green basil. So that's been very funny. Basil is a wonderful plant to work with for any abundance or prosperity workings, so pesto is really the perfect kitchen witch recipe for that. This next part of the recipe is not necessarily for prosperity, although our pumpkin seeds are really fantastic for both abundance and prosperity workings, but this is just a kitchen tip in general. I like to pop these in the oven probably around 350 for about 15 minutes, and really when we roast them in the oven, that brings out the kind of nutty flavor that really kind of brings the pesto together. To this recipe, I'm going to be adding lemon juice, I'm going to be adding lemon pepper, nutritional yeast, and olive oil. And while I'm processing the basil and getting it ready to blend, I do like to just really focus on the intention of prosperity. Before blending, I like to add some olive oil and then I do fill it up with water, not too much because I want to make sure I don't have too watery of a consistency. However, as you blend, you can feel free to add more and more water just to make sure it's the consistency that you really like. I really personally like the act of juicing the lemons with my own energy and my own intention, as well as stirring all of the different spices in, instead of doing that during the blending process, because I feel like it's a chance for me to really get my intentions, really get any words, affirmations, or incantations into the pesto while I'm doing everything by hand. I will say though, this does take a little bit of extra time, so if you're on a time crunch, if you have things going on and you can't stir in all of the herbs and spices by hand, definitely feel free to add them in to the blending process. It does not take any magical properties away to add your herbs and everything in while you blend them. Once everything is mixed in thoroughly and the consistency is to my liking, I am done with my prosperity pesto and I'm ready to add it to whatever I'm making. I have done pizzas with this pesto and oh my gosh, it is so good. But this evening again, I did pasta.
So I just went out and checked the mail and I am so excited because I received a package from today's video sponsor, Vue Glam. I am so excited to be partnering with Vue Glam to show you 4 pairs of very magical glasses. So whether you're casting spells, pulling tarot cards, grabbing coffee, whatever it may be, these glasses have a vibe. I'm absolutely in love with them and I cannot wait to show you. So let's go ahead and get into it. Now, before I try these ones on, you have to take a look at the adorable pearls on the back. Talk about a goddess moment. These beauties are everything. As you know, I am a huge fan of blue and this is just exactly the shade that I love. These are kind of giving off the vibe of wearing like an oversized off-the-shoulder sweater, going to grab a lavender latte, and pulling some tarot cards for a friend at a local coffee shop. These frames really give a bold, kind of a casual enchantress vibe. Overall, I am obsessed and I cannot wait to wear these all the time. Okay, these are bold, confident, and witchy glam. These sparkly red frames. Yes, please. I would definitely wear these with like a sleek black dress. I really think they're perfect for a dinner out. But honestly, I could see myself wearing these to the office as well. Like, yes, I will fix that spreadsheet for you, and after work, I can read your palm. They're very fun frames, but they also have that sophistication to them. Check out the sides of these ones. These frames, I think, are the most versatile of the bunch, and I can very easily see myself wearing these daily. It's a clear and black combo, which I think is just so sleek and classic. I definitely think these are like my everyday witch kind of glasses. Whether I'm journaling under the moonlight or running my errands, I feel like these literally will go with everything. They're very stylish and sleek and really without trying too hard. I think throwing these on with some layers and some silver jewelry would really tie together the whole witchy look. Kind of like effortlessly mystical. And now for these spicy frames, check out the black red with the little leopard print embellishments. You already know these are for when I want to make a statement. I would wear these for a night out with my girlfriends, cocktails, dancing, dinner. I could even see myself wearing these to a ritual, some intention setting under the stars, or a bonfire. These are definitely main character frames, and I feel like in these I can be unapologetically me. I cannot wait to show up looking fierce in these frames. If you're vibing with any of these styles, or you're like me and you're obsessed with all of them, Vue Glam has so many magical frames to explore. And the very best part is that you can use my code MAGICIAN for 25% off of your order at checkout. Thank you again to Vue Glam for sponsoring this video. I absolutely adore the glasses that I've received. And if you're looking to conjure your look, definitely go to my description, click on the link for Vue Glam, and use my promo code MAGICIAN for that 25% off. Let's get back into the video. I'm already in my comfies for the day. I came back to the magical cat room to light my St. Michael candle, and I noticed while I was lighting it that there's about this much wax left in the candle jar. So I thought it would be a really good opportunity to show you guys how I switch from an old candle to a new candle, because I do it a little bit differently than candles that I use for spell work or things like that. When I'm working with a spirit, I really like to transfer the energy from the previous vessel. And while I'm doing that, I figured I would just take everything off the shelf, give it all a good clean, and put it back in a nice and pretty way. So let's go ahead and transfer over the candle and get everything going. Something weird happened. I was setting up the shot for clearing off my St. Michael shelf and pulling the old candle down, and I noticed something in the corner. I'm gonna just include all of the footage that I took from that, and you can let me know what your thoughts are. I want to know what your thoughts are. I thought at first it was a smudge on the lens, and I'm kind of thinking that it wasn't, and it's a spirit. So just let me know what you think. I do end up switching over the candle, so I will talk about what I do for that. But I will say I kind of rushed through it just because I was a little bit frazzled from whatever I caught on camera. So let me know what you think. I'm genuinely curious. Is there something there? What is that? What is that? What the fuck? Hang on. What is that? What is that? Bro. I don't see anything with my bare eyes. Hang on. What is happening? Yeah, I'm gonna wipe the camera lens. Dude, it's not. What is that? Is it a spirit? Oh my goodness. What in the world? And it won't even focus. It won't focus on whatever that is. I'm just testing to see if whatever that splotch thing is like, I don't see it anywhere on the camera now. Okay, let me turn my light back on. Maybe that'll make a difference, but like, I took the camera all the way around the room, just not even filming too, and I could still see that thing, and it was following the lens, but it wasn't staying in one spot. Because if there was like a splotch on the lens, it would either, if it was dust, it would have gone away with this thing. And if it was like one splotch, it wouldn't be moving. Do you get what I'm saying? It would be like in the same spot on the whole time I'm moving the camera. I don't think I see it at all. Let me turn the other light on. I don't see it. I'm like trying to see if it'll like show up on my face or something if it is in the camera. I guess it's the perfect time to be lighting my St. Michael candle. Let me go ahead. I'm gonna just empty the shelf and I'll show you guys the transfer, and then I think I'm going to do a cleansing because that was weird, and we'll see after the cleansing. We'll see what happens. I don't know, man. I've never seen something like that. This is a brand new camera too. I just got it in October, so I don't know, y'all. Let me show you what I do to switch over the candles, and we'll cleanse.
The first thing I like to do is prepare the new candle for St. Michael. So what I like to do is take a porcupine quill. You can use a pen or really anything, but I like to poke 3 holes into the top of the candle. From there, I go ahead and add some St. Michael oil over the top of those holes in hopes that some of it will kind of seep into the candle. And while I don't want to add too much oil because that would cause a fire hazard, I do want to add enough that it really does get into those holes that we poked. And next you're going to want to take the old candle and light it, and with an incense or a skewer, take the flame from the old one and bring it over to the new candle. And from there you can go ahead and blow out the old candle since the energy is transferred over to the new, and you should be good to dispose of that candle because the energy is no longer within that vessel. So it's not necessary to do a energy transfer or a changeover when you're switching candles, but it's something that I feel like adds a little extra special something to my magic.
Okay, the candle switched over, the altar is set back up. I'm gonna do a cleanse, and I'm also gonna do some research on what else that spot could be as far as camera stuff goes. If you have any ideas, let me know in the comments down below, because just the way that it was moving seemed very suspicious to me. I don't know. I'm gonna do some research and I'm gonna do a cleanse, and I will keep you updated as this Weeknights with a Witch progresses. So I will see you guys very soon.
At this point in the week, I am beginning to feel a little bit burnt out. I have been very busy at work, and I'm also preparing for an upcoming visit from my in-laws. So I figured it would be the perfect opportunity to make myself a nice cup of tea, do a oracle reading for myself, and get some meditation in. I don't always journal my oracle or tarot readings, but sometimes when I'm feeling burnt out, I really just like to sit and kind of dissect what it is that I need in that moment, and it can be a little bit hard to remember, so it really helps me a lot to jot things down, and I can go back and look on it when I'm feeling a little bit more refreshed. As I'm sure you're aware, there are a million different ways to pick your cards, and I don't always do it this way, but typically when I sit down and journal my readings, I do. I like to start by hand shuffling the cards to see if there's any jumpers. This time I did not get any jumpers, so I went ahead and spread out the cards. Once I have the cards all fanned out, I like to remove any residual energy from my hands, and then I kind of go over the cards with a sweeping motion. And I know that I found the card that is right for me because I kind of feel this magnetism pull. So if I pass over the card, my hand just feels pulled to go right back to where it was. It's hard to explain, but let me know in the comments if you have a similar experience. I thought that this reading in particular was so interesting because all of the animals that I pulled are kind of from the same family, and they all have horns. Again, I like to do one more shuffle to see if there are any jumpers. No jumpers at all today, so I will go ahead and put my cards away, but since I am still kind of learning this deck, I do need the guidebook to talk me through what this reading means. And really at this point, I am just looking up the cards in the guidebook, jotting down the key points from each card. And then once I have everything kind of laid out in front of me, I will start to look for an overarching message and different things that I need to either work on or look out for to get myself out of this state of feeling kind of burnt out. So really at this point, now that I have kind of the overall message laid out in front of me, I can kind of gather my thoughts and go into meditation to see if anything else comes up. Once I am out of meditation, I just kind of like to jot down my final thoughts, really anything that came up in meditation, the connection between the cards, and if I have a plan to move forward, I will write that in this space as well.
All right, so I have a plan for this evening, and it requires a bit of backstory, so bear with me here. I have in this little brass container some coyote bones that I had acquired back in January. Now, my issue is that I am having a lot of trouble connecting with the spirit of these bones. I'm not sure if the bones themselves, if the coyote spirit doesn't like me, or if there's not much of a spirit there to connect with. So I've been wanting to do this for a while, and I finally have found the inspiration from a witchy market that I went to I think it was 2 weeks ago now, where I was talking to another witch about reddening bones. And basically reddening the bones is a way to kind of pull the life force back into the bones. So really connecting the spirit of the coyote back with its bones. And this is something that I've heard of before, but this practitioner in particular uses different berries to redden her bones, and I loved that idea. I did buy some bones from her. I bought a raccoon skull and it is gorgeous, but that idea was really inspirational to me. So I wanted to go ahead and redden these bones with some mulberries from my tree out back. This is the first year that it's ever produced fruit. I had no idea what kind of tree it was before this year. So I'm gonna use some mulberries, I'm gonna use some coffee to redden these bones. And on top of that, I think the timing is just so crazy. I had received a package from Wiser Books, so thank you so much, Wiser, for sending me a little care package. It was really nice of you. I got this Throwing Bones book from Wiser. It teaches you all about casting bones, and really a ton of information about divination is in here. So definitely keep your eyes out for a review video on this one soon. It's a gorgeous book and I'm really excited to talk about it and to learn from it. But the reason that I bring this up is because it kind of walks you through how to build your own casting set. But before I do that, I really want to redden these bones. I want to connect with the spirit of the coyote, and I will take you along for this process. So let's get started.
I also planned to add a few additional correspondences. So I have some black peppercorn, and that's just really good for kind of protection. I am adding some salt because I feel like salt is just so important to life and life force. I feel like that really will help out with bringing the spirit back into these bones. And then I'm also just adding the coffee grounds over the top of this whole mixture just for a little kick of energy. I also felt really called to add some ashes to this mixture just because of the whole ashes to ashes, dust to dust kind of aspect. And then I'm topping everything off with some boiling water just because I feel like the heat really helps to bring life back into this as well.
So here are the bones right now. I'm just gonna keep this on the altar probably at least for 24 hours. I'll check and see how they look around this time tomorrow. From there I can dry them, and then I'm gonna do a little consecration. But I will check back in with you guys tomorrow and we'll see how our bones are looking.
Blood of flesh, bone of bone, spirit of the coyote, I call you home. Blood of flesh, bone of bone, spirit of the coyote, I call you home.
I'm not sure if you can see it, but right back here I have my little consecration spell going. I came up with my incantation and my calling the coyote back to its bones on the fly. I had to, while I was saying it, I was like, I don't want to forget this. So I pulled out my phone and I left myself a voice note of myself saying it so I wouldn't forget, because I want to write it down. And I will definitely share that with you, and I'll put it somewhere in the description as well. So while I have this going in the background, I figured I would just kind of wrap up the vlog. I think it's getting quite long. The series Weeknights with a Witch is definitely something I'm going to continue. However, when vlogging weeknights, you have to actually live through the weeknights, so they do take a little bit longer to compile different footage and things that I'm doing during the week. And it's not every single night that I'm able to do something witchy. Sometimes it's just like sitting sitting down to read a book, or as you saw, when I'm feeling burnt out, I pull some cards for myself. And I don't know if that's boring footage, so let me know if that's something that you still enjoy watching. I'm not positive for this video that I got a full 7 days as far as weeknights go, but it is getting quite long, so I figured this is a good stopping point. However, I do think I'm going to immediately dive into the next one tomorrow because I kind of feel like I'm on a roll a little bit. I have that kind of spark of energy that summer tends to bring, so I really want to take advantage of that. I really hope you enjoyed the video. Please let me know if you think that was a spirit or if you think that that was just a camera smudge. I did do a cleansing and I haven't had an issue with the camera since then, so I don't know. Thank you so much again to Vue Glam for sponsoring this video. If you made it to the end of the vlog, can you leave a little bone emoji in the comments down below? I love to see who watches all the way to the end, and I feel like it would be a great way to kind of represent our reddening of the bones. I'm really excited with how those turned out, so I will definitely keep you posted on the casting set that I put together. Thank you so much for spending time with me, and I will see you guys very soon for the next one. Bye.